if this camera gives me a hard time, hear me out, I'm going to snap.
Is this a new camera?
No. I just changed a setting on it. I don't know. You don't watch the footage back, I don't think. But for the first 20 minutes of the podcast last week, we were out of focus. And that was my fault. And so I changed a couple of settings to make sure that doesn't happen anymore. But it looks like we're recording now.
Why does my face look like that?
It's got an auto.
Shut up.
It's got an auto. Are you talking about that frame?
Yeah.
It has an auto detect thing on to keep it from being out of focus. That's what that is.
I feel like
it's autofocusing.
I'm trying to dodge it. I'm just going to hide behind my microphone.
I thought I saw Liza out of the corner of
I'm
my eye.
going to put my foot up over
Please
my
don't.
face.
That's so. I don't know why the fuck you took your shoes off in my house. It's so nasty.
What do you? How? Hold on. No, we're not.
It's nasty because you're too. Why are you so comfortable?
I'm not allowing that.
Why are you so comfortable in my house? You shouldn't be. You should feel on edge every time you're here.
I was going to say, I always am a little bit.
Also, you came in and started bullying me while I was playing Hello Kitty Island
That's not
Adventure.
what happened.
You came in and started mansplaining Hello Kitty Island
Also
Adventure.
not what
Sorry.
happened.
So you don't deserve to feel comfortable in this house every time that you're in it.
Neither of those things are actually what happened.
Well, how you gaslighting women? That's crazy.
And we're 3 for 3.
Anyway, stupid, dumb bullshit. Okay, now I'm going to be like paranoid that the camera's going to turn off. Oh well. If it does, it's actually not the end of the world. It's fine. If you're an audio listener, this is the only week that you're slaying more than the like visual watcher, because if the camera cuts out, the audio people aren't going to give a shit. So it'll be fine.
I mean,
I'm going to sit here and pick at my dead
that's
skin
how
today,
I
and
listen
you're
to
gonna
it
have to
too.
get over it. I know. Yeah, most people are. Well, actually, I don't know that to be true. I know we obviously have more followers audio only than we do on YouTube because that's the main platform, but it doesn't tell you who watches the video on Spotify and who listens to it on Spotify. It doesn't tell you the difference. It just is like hours of consumption, and that's kind of it. Unless I'm reading my analytics wrong, which is entirely possible. Anyway, dumb bullshit that nobody cares about. You ready to get started?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome back to Pyramid Guys, Gals, and Non-Binary Pals. My name is Amanda, and I'm your host every single freaking week, except for the weeks that I'm not.
And I'm Eli, the dipshit participation trophy of co-hosts. You know what I've noticed is that like you will very often
I'm scared.
like fluctuate the speed with which you say your part.
True.
I have never once changed my tempo at all.
No.
Because I can't think that fast.
No. And that's always been the vibe. I am the changer and you are the constant. That's in the 7 years that we've known each other. I have known you to be the exact, not exact same MF, but relatively similar MF the entire time. I feel like I have lived many lives the time since I've met you.
And like both of us always say, I am the foundation that holds this podcast together.
And I've always said that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know what's really true, actually, and not a lie and not a joke? Eli holds this podcast. Sorry, I can't even get through it without
I was going to say, like...
Eli is not the glue. I was going to say that as a joke, and I can't even get through it because it's obviously so not true. Eli shows up and bullies me, and then that's it.
Yeah. Yep.
That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it, always.
Yep.
Okay, my pyramid of life, all three things are connected.
Ooh,
so I think we should do all of yours.
Oh my God, so much pressure.
Actually, we should, no, actually I don't know. Because mine's kind of serious. So should we do kind of serious stuff first and then end it with some dumb bullshit? Or do you want to do dumb bullshit and then do serious stuff?
I want universal dumb bullshit, but
True, we know this. You would benefit from that as a straight white man.
Do we have any emails or anything like that?
Yes.
So why don't we do my dumb bullshit, then we'll do your serious bullshit, and then we'll get back into the email bullshit.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. We have a lot of emails. Jesus.
Hell yeah.
Okay, Slade. Yes.
Does that sound like a good?
Yes, we're doing my dumb bullshit first.
No, mine and then yours and then
emails. Okay, great.
That's look behind the curtain. We don't plan anything, guys.
That's not true. We planned what time we were going to record today this morning.
We planned one thing, guys.
One thing at a time. It's about all we can do. Okay, what's the bottom of your pyramid,
bro? The bottom of my pyramid are dumb arguments between people I love.
Okay.
Like I don't argue with like actual serious things with like my friends or whatever. Like I don't ever like get mad at my friends. That's crazy. Because I keep good people around me that don't piss me off. But I'm referring to like...
Except me.
arguments. No, you and I don't like argue. We don't argue over anything.
That's true. We don't actually argue. That is true.
But they often happen when like people like can't or won't give someone they know and love the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Like I assume that you're coming at this from like a good place or whatever. Like two people that I'm very close with earlier today were in a group text arguing about the UT game, and it was just the dumbest thing ever. And one person's like, hey, I think that like, Houston is playing some kind of defense. That's why we can't get into the paint and shoot like we normally do.
Sure.
And the other person was like, we'll just drive into the paint and see if you could draw a foul and see what happens. And the first person's like, okay, well, Houston also fouls at the lowest rate in college basketball.
Oh, damn.
You can't shoot from the paint. You can't draw fouls. So, like, that
What's
wouldn't
the
really
point?
work.
Yeah.
They have to try and hit outside threes, and they're just not falling. That's why we're losing. And the other person was like, well, they just got in the paint right there. Yeah, for the first time in like 30 minutes of game. Like, it's dumb.
That's anecdotal proof.
It's
not good enough.
And then the original UT fan is like, yeah, like one exception doesn't prove the rule. And the other person literally left the group text. Brother,
that's really dramatic.
That is crazy. That is so great. Like,
that's really dramatic.
Also, we weren't arguing just now. Like, you can understand through my tone and what we're talking about that it's not that serious, bro.
It's college ball, dude.
It's so crazy. And so that is a very light, dumb example of this.
Sure.
But then there's also like, oh, so-and-so didn't text me this weekend and we didn't get to hang out. Like, it's not anything malicious. They just forgot or got busy or maybe they thought they texted you, it didn't go through. Like, those are the things that go through my head. If my friends, like, I don't know, or somehow don't act in the perfect way or whatever, I'm like, I'm sure they've got a reason.
Sure.
And so many people do not give their friends the benefit of that doubt, and that leads to, like, misunderstandings and fractured friendships and blah, blah, blah. And it really stresses me out, and that is the bottom of the pyramid. It's so dumb because it's avoidable. That's the main reason why it's the bottom. It's so avoidable.
Right. The middle?
The middle is that I think that my love languages are changing and
I'm scared.
/ have changed. Well, you and I talked about this the other day.
True.
It's weird to I've made a slight joke that it's weird to like still be changing as a human being when I'm almost 70
45.
years old.
Yeah.
I beat you to it. But it is also though cool to still like be learning things about myself and seeing how like certain experiences have changed me and are continuing to change me and stuff.
Totally.
And so I just how about some personal
Well, what do
growth?
you think
How
it's
about
like? What do you think it's changing to?
Well, so
if you want to talk about it.
Again, we talked about this the other day, but for the audience, I like have always said that my love languages are physical touch and words of affirmation. Mm-hmm. And when we get to my top of the pyramid, I am really starting to realize more recently that I think that quality time is becoming like the thing.
Yeah.
And that is I'm focusing right now on my personal relationships, not my romantic relationships. So like there probably is a little bit of difference there.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, the top of my pyramid is that I've been making a concerted effort to spend more quality time with people that I love, especially since my romantic relationship ended in December. And like, holy cow, as they say, my cup is full.
Yeah.
The last like couple of months, let's see, I wrote it down. A month and a half ago, I went to my friend Grant and his wife's Hannah's house for a dinner and to meet their second son, who is super cute. Mm-hmm. I went to Chattanooga last month to visit my other best friend Scott and his wife Olivia. You and I went to DC to visit our other best friends Patrick and Leah. Went to Athens to visit my cousin Colin and his wife Ansley. I got dinner with my brothers on Wednesday. Leah and I went and got cocktails on Thursday. You and I got drunk and watched basketball on Friday. And then last night, like, it culminated, so to speak, with a dinner where I went over to my childhood best friend is Chris. He and his wife, Katie, are expecting a child in like a month. And the three of us went to Chris's parents' home in our childhood neighborhood. And like, first of all, Chip and Barbara.
Great names, first of all.
Two of the best.
The most Caucasian names I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yes, but they are quite literally two of the most like kind and loving and warm and welcoming, genuine people on the planet. We had lasagna. They baked a pie.
Fuck
it was
yeah, dude.
we watched basketball and just like caught up for a couple hours. It was so dope. And this whole thing is like the tippiest top of the pyramid that I've had in a very long time, if not ever. I am right now feeling very lucky and very loved. In spite of the bullying that I've been enduring for the last 10
I would like to
15
offer a
minutes.
caveat. When Eli says we get drunk, that's not true.
Yeah,
I get drunk
No.
and we watch basketball, and I get drunk and say some of the most insane shit I've maybe ever said in my life
No,
to
you were
Eli.
good.
And then Eli stays pretty sober and giggles at me and then goes home. Like we don't get drunk. Amanda gets drunk and Eli just like powers through it and then goes home at a reasonable hour. And I am debriefing with Rachel being like, I don't know why, hear me out, anyone is friends with me. Because
We had a great time.
I am
What do you
who I
mean?
am when I'm drunk, but just like heightened.
I
You know what
didn't-
I mean? So like
No, because-
every time we get drunk the morning after, I'm always like, hey Rachel, I don't know if I can look Eli or Austin or Rachel or whoever I'm with, I don't know if I can ever talk to this person ever again. And we're just always like, Amanda, it's literally not that serious. But
No, we had a great
don't
time.
get drunk. I get drunk and you are fine.
I had a little buzz.
Not the
Also,
same.
you were not
Built different.
You were not crazy or
Built
anything. Like
different. That's probably true. I have a lot of residual religious trauma around being drunk. So I always feel like a disproportionate amount of anxiety. Like I always feel like I was worse than I really was.
Oh, no, you're
because I have
fine.
like that extra level of like religious trauma. You know what I mean?
No, you're fine.
okay,
You threatened
good.
to punch me several times, but like very
Well, that's
playfully.
what I would do when I'm gonna punch you right now. Like I would make that for literally.
You did
right
it a
now.
lot, I'll say that, but
Yeah,
at no point did I feel that my life was actually in danger, though I did pretend for your benefit.
Thank you for that. I appreciate
I
that.
got you, dude.
Okay, so I'm gonna cry. I'm just gonna throw that out there right now.
Okay.
I'm going to open up about something that I have not talked about before on this podcast because I think it will be beneficial for someone who might have experienced something similar to have visibility in media, because visibility in media is the top of my pyramid this week.
Hell yeah.
So, in October of 2023, I was in a really bad spot. And I was in a really bad spot for a handful of reasons. One of them being that at the beginning of the month, I reconnected with someone that I knew from a different part of my life from college. And he and I knew each other when we were, I don't even know if I've told you all of this. He and I were sort of involved when we worked at a professional theater when I was in college. But when we met, he was, like, in a relationship and, like, you know, we couldn't, like, do anything and, like, whatever. And, like, we found out years later, like, oh, you had a crush on me, I had a crush on you, that's crazy. And then we, like, hooked up one time and then we, like, never spoke again. It, like, didn't really matter because we didn't live in the same state and whatever. But we followed each other on social media, really nice dude, whatever. At the beginning of October, he DMs me on Instagram and is like, I'm going to be in Nashville for... like passing through on his way to a gig, on his way to an acting gig. And he's like, do you want to get dinner? I was like, absolutely. Good looking guy, actor, liberal, all these things. And so we get dinner and the vibe is there for sure. And after dinner's over, I'm like, I had just bought my house. I was living by myself. And I was like, do you want to spend the night? He was like, fuck yeah, I do. So he comes back to my house. Y'all are grown adults. He spends the night. He tells me while we're at dinner and while we're here at my house that he is in an open relationship with his girlfriend, which is a dynamic that I would not elect to be in, but that's none of my business. So like, okay, you're in an open relationship. You guys are seeing each other, but you're also seeing other people. Again, none of my business, whatever. He spends the night. He sleeps with his phone in a different room. And we get up in the morning and I'm like being very cute. I'm like making him breakfast, like being very sweet and whatever in the morning.
He slept with his phone in a different room? Mm-hmm. That's bizarre.
Mm-hmm. We're going to get there. I'm
You're being very
making
cute.
him breakfast. I'm being very cute. And he goes to show me something on his phone, and he turns his phone around, and he gets a text message from his girlfriend that says, like, I miss you, I love you, I can't wait to see you again, blah, 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 blah. And that, like, made me feel kind of like, ugh. Just, like, odd. Again, a polyamorous dynamic is something I don't understand, but, like, he was saying that everything was fine, so I had no reason to not believe him.
Sure. I know people that are in poly
and that's great. And I love that. I do too. And that's great for them. And that's great. Again, so it's like not any of my business to like question him about any of this. So.
But you feeling weird about it is like also your right. Not that you're asking for my opinion or whatever, but like it is okay for you to be on the outside of that and be like, ooh, I'm now weirdly a part of this and I don't. And I didn't really ask
to be a part of it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'll shut up.
So he leaves. He's like, had the best time. Whatever. He's like, I'm going to be coming through Nashville again at the end of the month. Like, let's hang out again. Sure, whatever. In the subsequent, like, days and weeks, we're texting. We're, like, FaceTiming. He's calling me. All these things. Like, we're, like, chatting it up. We're, like, talking. And I get invited to go to the beach with one of my very best friends. And I spend a lot of that trip inside on my phone, regrettably. And this friend and I have, I've apologized to this person profusely. I'm on the phone with him. I'm FaceTiming him because he's like, I'm going to go see my girlfriend. I'm going to break up with her. He's like, I don't like her. I don't like the way she treats me. I don't like the way she speaks to me. And I know this because I've been getting along so well with you. And because of what you and I have, I'm going to go break up with my girlfriend. And I was like, I did not ask for that. I don't want that to happen. If you feel unhappy, you should break up with your partner independent of anybody else. Don't do that because of me. That's crazy.
Correct.
I don't know you like that. Like, whatever. So he gets there. He's FaceTiming me while he's at his girlfriend's house. And he FaceTimes me in the same room as her. And I, did not know that was going to happen. And while we're on FaceTime, he's talking to me about a gig that they have. And he makes a comment about how he can't see me as he's passing through Nashville. Hate that our schedules won't line up, whatever. News to me, that's not what you told me. I thought you were going to hang out. So I'm on a FaceTime call with him in the same room as his girlfriend, texting him saying, I thought you were going to see me. What's going on? And he's like, yeah, give me just 1 second. He's like, I don't want to talk about it with her in the room. She gets weird. I'm like, okay.
Very different than what you originally said.
So I'm feeling kind of weird. I'm getting a lot of these pits in my stomach. I don't really know what's going on, whatever. And I call Rachel on this beach trip and I say I think this is weird. And I don't really know what's going on. But he's telling me, he at this point has told me several times that he loves me and that I can trust him and how liberal of a guy he is and how much he cares about me and loves me and all these things. I'm talking about it with Rachel and Rachel says, hey, I think he's cheating on his girlfriend with you. I don't think he's in an open relationship. I think he thinks he's in an open relationship and his girlfriend doesn't know that he's in an open relationship.
Yeah, yes.
Sleeping with the phone in the other room.
It's not that he thinks he's in an open relationship. It's that he's pretending to be.
Yeah. So she's I'm telling her, there's no way that's true. He's telling me he loves me. He's telling me that I can trust him. He's telling me that he, can't wait to see me again. And, he's validating all of my insecurities. So, I don't have any reason to not believe him. And Rachel was like, well, the good news is, if he's not telling the truth, you can ask him. And he has nothing to hide. If he's not lying, he has nothing to hide. So just ask him. And I was like, you're right. So I FaceTime him again. Again, we're in constant communication. Mm-hmm. And I FaceTime him again and I'm like, hey, I think I'm just getting a weird vibe. I feel like you're cheating on your girlfriend and you're lying to me that you're in an open relationship. He was like, oh my God, no. He was like, what do you mean? There's no. Me and my girlfriend are in a completely open thing. I just didn't want to be disrespectful of her by talking about seeing you while I was staying with her, blah, 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 blah. But no, I'm not cheating on her with you. That's not what's happening. I was like, okay, whatever. And then he goes radio silent for 24 hours. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
Do you want a Diet Coke?
No. And he goes, or I like am kind of like following up, like, hey, I'm kind of nervous. I haven't heard from you. I'm supposed to see him 2 days later.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's the plan? Whatever. And he's like, I need to call you. So he calls me when I'm back home from the beach trip and I'm getting ready to go to a party. And he says, I have something to tell you, and I don't want you to say anything. I want you to listen to what I have to say. I was like, okay, what is it?
Great. All good news always follows that type of sentence.
Yeah. He says, truly, like, some of the most hateful and, like, misogynistic shit that I've ever had anyone say to me ever. And he tells me, you know, like, I've decided to be in a monogamous relationship with my girlfriend. And I can see now how over the last month, the reason why she and I are not getting along is because of you. And he's like, you are a bad person, and you were being nice to me so that I would break up with her so that you could have me all to yourself. Which, like, we didn't live in the same state, so I don't really know how that's possible, but...
And also, for sure, not
And also,
correct,
like, not what was happening.
obviously.
And he says, like, I'm telling you all of this now because I think you have time to change. He says, I think one day you can grow and be a better person. So I'm letting you know now. And it was an insane conversation.
Oh my God. That is the craziest shit. Whew.
It was nuts.
Oh.
And he's just like yammering on and on like this for like 20 minutes, reading what I at this point believe to be a written statement that he was reading out on speakerphone with his girlfriend in the room.
That's
why he wasn't gonna let me talk.
I swear to you, that's how I'm picturing it.
Yeah.
That is how I'm picturing it.
Call up the other girl and break up with her in front of me is what I think was going on.
Holy shit.
So
what a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
If you want to put this guy's name and address in the description for this episode, you certainly can.
I'm not going to. Never mind. I'm not going to finish that thought.
You can tell me after we're done recording.
Okay. So I am like shocked that this is going on. And I say to him, hey, you've been talking at me for like 20 minutes. Can I respond? I said, can I defend myself at least? Because you're accusing me of being a bad person. So can I defend myself a little bit here? Like, please? And he said, you know, Amanda, I really don't care what you have to say. And I immediately hung up the phone in the middle of him talking. And I blocked his phone number and I blocked him on like every platform.
Right.
The bad news about all of this, so I'm like really shocked and so pissed and like hurt and like very angry. The worst part about this was that I, like I said, was on my way to a party. And I get to this party and my ex-boyfriend's there, who I had just gotten out of a relationship the month prior. And I get to the party, he's outside, I go up to him, I'm upset, and I'm looking for validation in a place that I should not have been looking for it, and I understand that in retrospect 2 years later, a year and a half later. And he sees me and says, you know, Amanda, I just really can't deal with this right now, and just like walks away. And at that time, I felt like so ashamed and embarrassed that I had let myself get to that point. Because for all of both of those men's faults, for like who they are as people, I allowed a lot of that. I looked past a lot of it, and I was a willing participant in a lot when I should not have. I should have cut and run many times, and I didn't. So I go into that party in October, and I go apeshit. And it was my first brush with, like, legitimately illicit substances. I am like a fucking nightmare at this party. And, like, without being, like, super weird about it, I was not super invested in my lifetime longevity. And luckily, I had a support system that caught me that night, and I was able to be nursed back to health and whatever. And I called my therapist. As I was blacking out, I called my therapist, which is, like, awesome. Slay my subconscious, I guess. And, you know, we had this, like, really long conversation about everything, and me and my therapist, and was able to unpack all of it. But what was crazy was that from the time that he and I got dinner the first time to that party was a month. It took that MF 3-4 weeks to, like, really wriggle into my brain. And when I tell y'all, he knew every right thing to say. He got all of them. He was good at, like, helping me feel better about body stuff, about religious trauma stuff, about social anxiety stuff. Like, he I don't know, it was like he was made in a factory specifically for my downfall. Like, he was the perfect dude until he wasn't. And dudes like him are bottom of the pyramid. This is the connection of everything. He could live forever, or he could drop dead right now, and I wouldn't care either way. I'll see you in hell, bitch. Like, rot. I actually don't care. He, like, really did a number on my self-worth. I'm thankful for that experience in retrospect because it allowed me to viscerally feel stuff I will not tolerate anymore. And it's one thing to be, like, a feminist and to be like, oh, like, fuck these men, whatever, outwardly. But until it's your lived experience, it just, for me, took a different form. Sure. That shit happened to me. I was fucking there when that happened. I'm not going to put up with A, B, and C things ever again. I learned how to recognize red flags and whatever. It was butt ass when it was happening. It was shit very scary. It was shit from a butt experience. It literally almost cost my life. But I'm thankful for it, you know, with mad distance from it. Ugh. My top of the pyramid.
Wait, do we have a middle?
Oh, yeah, middle of the pyramid is the experience.
Oh, I see. Sorry.
The top is, it's a couple of things. People like Rachel, who saw that I was telling her that I loved this man. This, like, y'all don't get it, this is my husband type of levels of infatuation. And she heard me talk about how great he was. And she saw pictures of how hot he was. And we talked about our conversations and whatever. And she said it anyway. And she said, this is not it. I know that you really like him. And I know that you really trust him. And I know he's saying he loves you and you can trust him. I, as one of your best friends, am here to tell you he's a fucking liar. And Rachel knew that because she had been fucked on by a man who was cheating on his girlfriend with her. And she was like, this is textbook love bombing, narcissism, manipulation. You have to call him out on it. And the good news is, if he's not a fucking liar, he has nothing to hide. So she, like, called my bluff. She called his bluff, really. And he was fucking lying the whole time, and she was fucking right about it.
Shout out to Rachel.
Shout out to girls for real. I've never in my life known someone to ride so hard for their friends as Rachel. It's like, it's a different level. It's fucking awesome. And then I don't care if this sounds superficial. I don't care if this sounds stupid. I actually don't give a fuck. I have found a lot of visibility in media recently, specifically the extended version of Ariana Grande's newest album. She has a song on that album that's called Twilight Zone. And it's about those liminal space relationships that you cannot believe happened. And she's like, I don't miss you. I'm not going to call you. But I think about this a lot because I can't believe this happened. And I am so, like, just very overwhelmed by the love of women and their ability to like be reliable and relatable, and to say like, no, your experience is valid. I went through the same thing, and I know you feel fucking crazy. Like, there's no way that this man could have torn you down like this in a month, but he did. And I have a similar unreal, insane experience. And I've just been thinking about it a lot this weekend. It like really has just been weighing on me that like, that's a certain type of grief and a certain level of like, I don't know, just like letting it go. And like, I don't know. Sometimes I just can't believe that man happened to me. And I'm so lucky for it. And I'm lucky that I made it out. I mean, I'm lucky that the people who like were in my life who picked me up after that were around. And I'm lucky that I had the support system I did at the time. But like, I feel nothing for that man. I feel less than nothing for him. I hope he rots in prison. I don't give a fuck. That man was so fucking scary. When we were on FaceTime, I didn't like really understand this until yesterday, and I was thinking about how I wanted to frame all of this. When we were on FaceTime one time, he showed me guns that he had in his house. Why? I don't know. Just like a flex to be scary, probably.
Maybe.
But I said this last week, the most liberal presenting dudes are the scariest, because at least a conservative is honest about his misogyny. A liberal man can be a misogynist and lie about it, and that's scarier. I'd rather you just call me a slur to my face and tell me that you think women are lesser than tell me that you are a feminist icon king, tell me you love me, and then gaslight the shit out of me and tell me that I'm a bad person when you've been caught in your bullshit.
Yeah, they have the language to do so.
Right.
To, like,
it's weaponizing therapy. It's weaponizing allyship.
Dude, the number of people
crazy.
that weaponize like therapy language
is
bananas.
It's insane to me.
Just because you kind of learned what gaslight means,
yeah,
or protecting my peace, or whatever.
Yeah, whatever
nonsense.
it is. Yeah.
It oh God, I've had a lot of that. Maybe not a lot, but I've had some of that over the past, I don't know, year or whatever. It's wild.
Fucking annoying.
Yeah, it is.
So anyway, that experience shaped me. And when I get up on this mic and I talk shit on men, it is a lived experience. I'm not just bullshitting because I think feminism is fun. I hate on liberal men because of a lived experience, more than one lived experience. And women in general aren't usually just bullshitting about feminist causes. It's usually either their lived experience or the lived experience of a woman around them.
Yeah.
And so that whole thing feels like forever. It feels like so many different lifetimes ago. Like I actually can't describe it. Here's a fun fact. If you've been listening to the podcast for a long time, you know that there was an episode that Eli and I filmed on my iPhone months ago. We were sitting on the same couch facing each other. The video got taken down because I said some pretty incendiary, some pretty awful things about a coworker that I deeply regret and had to take back later. That video, do you remember recording this episode? The couch was on that side of the living room, and we were facing each other.
Maybe. I remember you talking about the coworker. I don't remember the circumstances of our seating arrangement, but...
Oh, I almost just said his name. This man had just left after getting dinner with me, and then we recorded that episode. Like that.
Damn.
So longtime listeners will remember that episode infamously. That was when that happened. And then there's an episode where we had to skip a week, and I say, when we come back, that I was put in a situation where my safety was threatened by a man. That's this man. So look at, even just content-wise, there's like 2 episodes in between. From, I think I have reconnected with the love of my life, to one of the worst periods of my life. So, all of that to say, if you have been through something similar, I see you. Especially if you have been like I let that man in my house. I let that man sleep in my bed. And that's such a specific kind of pain when it becomes, scary. And he knows where I live. And I think about that all the time. So, shouts out to visibility and media and the way that it helps people heal. And shouts out to girls, and bitches who take no prisoners for the sake of their best friends. Rachel is the fucking realest bitch I've ever met in my life, and I will die for her. Like,
you're gonna come home one day. She's gonna have him chained up in the backyard.
She knows.
Like, so what do you want? What do you want me to do?
She
with him?
watches him on social media. She checks in to make sure he doesn't come around. She's that girl.
I'm sure.
Anyway, it's just been a weekend of kind of combing through that because I feel very like seen by a body of work by an artist I really appreciate and love and respect and stuff. And I've just been thinking about that situation a lot and like trying to take time to like really firmly let that go and let go of like my hate for that man too, because that also doesn't help. I don't want to think about him. I don't want to hold any ill will because I don't want to have any will, period. Goodbye. Live forever, die tomorrow. Die right now. I don't care. I'm unaffected either way. If you've been in that situation, I understand where you're coming from. I see you. I love you. I support you, especially if it's a female male situation and your man is playing on the power dynamic. Who girl? Not to say that that's the only situation that's valid. It's just very different and very specific. So, anyway.
Additionally, it's not your fault. You're not crazy. It can happen to literally anyone. Like, you're not crazy.
Yeah. Anyway. I'm going to take a break really quick. Now to talk about some dumb bullshit. Then we take a break. I got a glass of water. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Let me start the timer on the thing. Okay. We have a shit ton of emails.
Should we only do a couple of them?
This is like a lot. And by a lot, I mean 6. But there's no way we're going to be able to read all 6.
Let's do 3 now.
Oh my God. This person's font is gigantic.
That is huge. Do 3 now, and we'll do 3 in the next one.
Okay, Slay. This is, let's see, an email. I don't know if I can say this person's name, so I'm not gonna. But an email that says, so to help explain the lore of what's going on. Thank you so much. Very appreciated. Kira and Tracy went to remember Kira, Kalani's mom, and Tracy, the mom that she like really fucking hates.
Yes.
Went to the same studio in Arizona with each other, and Sarah, and then her last name, aka Sarah R, as she's referred to as, is her daughter. So, which you'll come to find out in the future, Tracy and Kira have a lot of drama in the past. Wanted to share as well that Ava, the very tall one that you'll see in the future, is like also a part of this. And that girl actually went on to be in a Netflix movie called Tall Girl. And I know about Tall Girl because there's an actor from American Vandal in it. Her mom also played a stand-in for Nicole Kidman in a movie. That's very exciting. So I wanted to share the age differences of the girls. The age difference is an important factor, obviously. So Nia and Sarah's only 7 months older than Nia. Kendall and Ava are both 11, but Ava's a little bit older. Kalani and Jade. Kalani is a year and 5 months older. And then Tia and Mackenzie. Tia is 3.5 months older. And then Cameron is a year and 3 months older than Chloe. We're going to talk about the age difference between these two teams today. But the new team, like, is a net old.
Overall,
you know what I mean?
is far
Yeah,
older.
it's super fucking annoying. We're going to talk about it later. Oh, wait, that's a spam email, Slay. This email subject line is, I don't know what to subject this. Fair. Let's see. I don't know if I can say this person's name, so I'm not gonna. Oh, wait, yes, okay, never mind. She says her name. She says, hi, Amanda and Eli, and then in parentheses, derogatory next to your name. You guys can say my name. I'm Maisie, longtime listener, first-time emailer. First, I thoroughly enjoyed this pod. You guys helped me through a very dark time in my life, and I'm happy I found y'all. Slay. Now I was listening to Lights, Camera, Dance, and I heard you mention Larkin and wanted to put some context into that studio Larkin.
Studio Larkin, that's right.
I've danced since I was 4, competitively danced since 7th grade, and currently dance at my college, and all of the dancers that she's ever met know Studio Larkin. So it's like that big of a deal. Studio Larkin is the equivalent of dance royalty. They are some of the best dancers in the country, and they usually feed into 2 of the best collegiate teams in the country, OSU and Minnesota. I will attach their jazz.
State?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
I will attach their jazz and palm numbers from the past 2 wins from each team if you want to watch that at some point. All that to be said, that those girls were way better than Abby's dancers at the time.
Yeah, no kidding.
So anytime that Abby beats Studio Larkin, it's bullshit, basically. Pyramid of Life bottom. Oh, this is basically what you just said. People who can't admit when they're wrong.
That's a huge part of it.
It just really irks my nerves. It's like, you're busted.
Right? It's not even it. In mine, that is a part of it, but it's not even admitting that you're wrong. It's just realizing that like the other person isn't trying to argue, or they weren't trying to be like a bad friend or whatever.
Yeah.
Like assuming assuming malice is the bottom of the pyramid. That is, it's like I'm assuming that you did this to hurt me, or
Right.
because you don't care about me, or whatever. Like that's
It's
not.
like maybe it's just not that deep.
It's
Maybe
not.
people are just
I
people.
literally just forgot, or I thought I sent a text, or whatever.
Is this was someone specifically beefing with you about this?
No, I watched two
okay.
other people do this, and I've
Gotcha.
watched like I have to have conversations with my employees about this kind of thing sometimes.
Oh, sure.
There's like so and so didn't do one task last night when they were closing up, and so I got here and had to do it, and it's just like really frustrating. Like, do you think they did it on purpose?
Yeah.
No, they did not.
Right. It's never that serious.
Yeah.
The middle is graduating college. There's just so many things to plan for, like post-grad, grad photos, moving out, finishing schools, spring showcases. It's a lot, but graduating is exciting. Congratulations. Congratulations. The top is Severance. Maybe I'm going to find you and I'm going to have a conversation with you. I'm so fucking mad at that show. I'm probably not going to watch season 3. That's not true. I'll watch it and be mad about it. Me and my boyfriend started a few days ago and we're already through season 1 and it's really making us focus on spending time together since we're long distance. Love that. Season 2 can catch these hands. Song of the week is a song that I can't pronounce by Bad Bunny, by our BFF, Bad Bunny.
I've never listened to a Bad Bunny song, I don't think.
No, but Patrick loves Bad Bunny.
Right. You and Patrick have bonded over that.
Patrick, Bad Bunny is...
I'm not about that life.
Because the music is so happy and upbeat, it makes me want to dance, but don't translate some of his lyrics. They're kind of sad. That's true. He does Spanish sad club music, where it's like, I'm going to shake my ass, and also, these lyrics are really sad. I think I'm going to cry. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Also, thanks, Eli, for following me back on IG. I was very surprised, but appreciated. Resident dance expert of the pod, Maisie M.
Wait,
Slay.
who is this? Maisie?
What episode did you watch?
Season 4, episode 21.
Okay, thank God. I was really hoping that you watched the right one, but
Double the
I figured you'd
moms,
figure it
double
out.
the trouble.
There were so many. I forgot
There
that
were
they go
4.
on. They go on a mid-season break each season.
There were 4. I don't remember this at all. Not like this.
Yeah, this one was kind of long.
It was 4 episodes.
Yeah,
they
it
did
was
like
nuts.
it
was like 2-part
interview
reunion.
with the. It was
and then the beef
review with
between
the mom
Maddie and
the kids,
Chloe.
and then Maddie and Chloe, and then
and
the
then
top
like
10
Abby's
dances.
top 10. Yeah, crazy. So
Cranking
yeah,
out
we're
content.
skipping all the way to season 4, episode 21. Double the moms, double the trouble. Okay. Previously, oh wait, are you ready to get into the content of this week's episode?
You bet your bottom.
Okay, great. Previously on new team,
1.
and we have new team moms, and they're like against the existing team. We have Maxie and her music video. Sarah's mom is the number 1 op. We're gonna come to call her Christy this week, which is fucking hilarious.
I love that everyone does it too. Also, I really thought about making Maxie's girl party my song of the week.
Can you? I guess you probably can stream it, huh? And then Maddie's on the new team. The previously on this week was mad long. It was like
long.
It was like a solid 2 minutes of. It's like I
Oh.
already fucking. Well, I
would
guess
just
the
skip
previously
those.
long was, or previously on was probably long because there had been like a month where they weren't
Yeah.
doing anything.
I also always skip that.
I don't because I can't be bothered to retain this show. This week we're in Pennsylvania in the mirror room. We're with the new team and we're warming up, and the original team is outside in the lobby, like leering and peeking into the window and like looking at like what the other team is doing. And Jill in her talking head says that it's not fair that the new team is getting attention because they aren't. She's like, they're not really members of our studio.
Sounds like they might be.
It sounds like they are kind of like beating your ass every week, but whatever. But she's
1
already.
week.
Well, I guess that's true. Yeah, spoiler alert. But
Also, it shows the outside of the ALDC, and Abby is just like, "Come on in, everyone, hello," and it's really nice. And I was like, "What is happening?" And then it goes into in the mirror room, and she's talking to the new team. I was like, "Oh, got
she's
it."
talking to the new ones.
Got it.
Got it. The original team and the moms like walk into the mirror room, and Christy from the original team, not Christy says that she can't even remember the new moms' names, and she runs down the list and gives them all nicknames. It is like pretty funny.
I wrote them all down first and foremost
I knew
because it
you
was
would.
very funny, and secondly because I too cannot remember their names.
Yeah, I can't either.
She goes down the list. Jody is Cameron's mom, whom she calls Dud Muffin.
That's so devastating.
Yeah. Lori with 2 E's, insane. Loree. Yeah, it was crazy. Is Jade's mom, and she calls her Boring Lori. It's a boring nickname.
Reed.
Tracy is Sarah's mom. Frumpelstiltskin.
Frumpelstiltskin was my favorite. That one's fucking hilarious.
That's a good one. Jeanette, whom I adore, is Ava's mom, and Christy calls her Count Stockula.
Because she's been stalking their studio for like 3 years.
Like, oh, she's been trying to get into our studio for 3 years. And then Christy is Sarah H's mom, and Christy calls her a Bible-thumping, fire and brimstone, Old Testament dance mom.
I know so many of those women. It's insane.
That is a read.
That is a read. That is absolutely a read. And a read is only a read if it's accurate. That's what people be forgetting sometimes about reads, is that they have to be accurate.
Sometimes
they have to be based in reality.
Sometimes I'll see people go, that's a read. I'm like, you couldn't have missed by more, actually.
Yeah, it has to be like...
That's not a read. You're wrong.
My favorite read ever from our BFF, Bianca Del Rio, was talking to Ben de la Creme, and Ben de la Creme is from Seattle, and she says, Ben de la Creme, after seeing you do drag, I now understand why Seattle has such a high suicide rate. That's a read. That's crazy.
But it's not.
Alyssa Edwards with Coco Montrese, bitch, look how fucking orange you fucking look. And her face was basically orange because she was using the wrong color foundation. That's a read.
Also, not a read because Ben de la Creme is pretty good.
That's kind of true.
So,
Ben
not
de
a
la Creme's
read.
really good.
Not a read.
I thought it was funny.
No, not a read. Justice for Ben de la Creme.
Abby and her
that on a t-shirt.
Justice for Ben. You're gonna love watching her in All Stars. We're gonna watch that season. You're gonna love it.
Okay.
Oh, the bitches who know. Okay, anyway. Abby and her talking head is talking about how the original team, she's like, that everybody's come to know and love. They're only gonna get better with the new teams, like justifying her abuse of children, obviously. Great.
Right.
So the pyramid, so she's kind of starts with the pyramid, and then they like start to argue, and so they have to kind of swerve around. But as she's starting the pyramid of kids, she says that she's recognized her mistakes. She doesn't really go into any specifics about that. I'm assuming she means trusting the original team to still be good is a mistake or something like that. And then she asked Maddie to move to the new team, just like she did last week. She's like, go over there and stand with your new friends. Like, go away from the people you know and love and feel secure around. Go stand with some strangers. And she talks about them being like the winning team. Like, go stand with the winners.
Yeah, Abby says something about her mistakes and like not allowing moms to like speak up or have a say or I forget exactly what she said, but of course Christy then defends going nuts in the last one and says, we are your customers and blah blah blah, and then calls the other moms phonies, and they're all just like, what the hell did we do?
Catching strays. I also wrote the thing about her saying that she like flexes that she's a paying customer, and I said it's giving I pay taxes, so I'm the boss of teachers. Like, I feel like she has that opinion, too, of like, well, I pay my taxes, so I should be able to email my kid's teacher and tell them to fuck off because I pay taxes, I pay their salary, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. You want to know what's funny is when people say that and they're not homeowners, you don't actually pay the salaries of teachers because schools are funded by property taxes.
Well, I didn't even know that.
So if you don't own a home, you don't get to say shit about what goes on in schools, actually.
Damn.
It's a fucked up system, and it shouldn't be like that.
True, but it is. Abby says you just said this. That Christy says that the team that she's on is the team of phonies, which is kind of like a self-own. To like, the team I'm on, the team that won last week, fucking losers. It's like, well, that's the team that you're currently on, so you might want to be a little bit nicer to those people.
Yeah, and they won without your kid.
Right, exactly. Like, you didn't even... And she's like, well, you took something out of context. But, like, newsflash, babe, that's the name of the fucking game, is taking things out of context and then freaking out about them.
Also, it wasn't out of context.
You were just being
Abby
annoying.
a liar to her face.
Right. And she was like, hey, you're pissing me off, which is fair. Yeah. And then Christy in her talking head says that she's going to do whatever it takes to prove that Sarah is the new Maddie. Yikes.
Big yikes. Girl, have you seen your daughter dance?
Girl. Also, your daughter is like...
9.
Yeah, 8. She's younger than Mackenzie. So how is she the new Maddie? Like, the fuck?
I don't know.
And then Abby asked Maddie to talk about what she did during the... She's like, well, your girls should be training during the break and they shouldn't be losing sleep. And then she goes, Maddie, what did you do during the break?
Because they might have to swap teams. Like, we might have to rotate girls in.
Right.
Because some people are off doing other things. Maddie, what did you do?
And then Maddie's like, on the break, I went to film a music video for Sia. So like, that's
where it happened.
That's the chandelier video, baby.
Sure
That's
was.
good stuff. Abby in her talking head says that she's the kids' managers. She's like, I've done all this shit. I'm the best. I'm their manager. And I know that Mackenzie is next on deck to be Miss Pop Diva Icon Superstar, America's Next Drag Superstar, Maxie.
What's funny is she's never like spoke about Mackenzie like that until Mackenzie like went and got herself like a deal, and then Abby now all of a sudden is like, oh, she's obviously the next Maddie. She's obviously a proud success story for us. Yeah, Abby, actually, you were kind of talking shit about how she's not her sister the entire time.
Yeah.
And, oh, now she's successful. It's because of me.
You've been talking mad shit about her for, hear me out, her entire life.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the, switch up is about. Yeah. Then she points out that Kalani's not with them. And she says that she doesn't want a student whose mom chooses a boyfriend over the team. Is Kalani just gone?
That's what I wrote. I said
that was so short. I didn't feel like she was there for that long.
Question marks. And also, that sucks.
Also,
she
that really sucks. She was awesome.
Easily the second, maybe the third behind Chloe, but at least top three.
Also,
best
Kira's got that dog
team.
in her too.
And
Kira
is
a
girl's girl. She was about to beat someone's ass last week. Abby, they're exactly the parent kid duo you want on the team.
Yeah.
A mom who like isn't a bullshitter with you,
right?
Shows up all the time and is like really committed, and then a kid who's awesome. Like, what more could you ask for?
I really hope they come back because I really liked both.
Me too. Well, here's the thing. Also, is like she's in a lot of those like reunion like
clips,
pictures, or whatever. So like, you have to think she'll be around longer than half a season.
I really hope so. I really liked her. Yeah, I wonder if you count the number of episodes that Peyton has been in. Obviously not in order, but the number of episodes that Peyton's been in versus the number of episodes that Kalani was in, if Kalani squeaks out by that much more. Again, obviously Peyton wasn't back to back to back like Kalani was.
Well, Peyton's longevity is more.
Exactly. So I wonder.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope they bring her back.
Me too.
Abby. So then, because of Kalani not being there, Abby then has Maddie move back to the original team for like the numbers' sake, and she's like. Maddie and her talking it is like, yeah, it was cool to be on a different team, but I really like my friends, and I don't want to compete against them. I'm glad to be back on my team.
The other kids are my friends, I guess. These are my real friends.
I don't want to hang out with them. I want to be with my real friends.
Yeah, they're my friends, except I don't like them or have anything in common with them, and I don't want to spend time with them.
That's how I feel about you. Come on, I was crying earlier. You have to let me have one.
Okay, now it's my turn to cry then?
Yes.
Okay.
Start right now. Me as fuck. Okay, so then we talk about the pyramid of children, and it's not a pyramid. The structural integrity nowhere to be seen.
Well, actually,
because it's all the kids on one level, and then also one kid above.
Yeah, it's a ranch house with a chimney.
Oh, sure. No. The bottom of children, the worst child is not Kalani. It's Kendall.
Thank you for at least entertaining me for like a second.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh yeah, no.
The worst child is Kendall. She got beat by the duet on the new team, her and Kalani. I'm kind of surprised Kalani's not on the bottom of the pyramid.
Well, Kalani's not there.
No, I know, but think about the number of times that Abby's put Brooke and Paige on the bottom when they weren't there.
Well,
to just be like, fuck these kids, you know what I mean?
I think this is an indication that they might not be coming back.
I hope that's not true.
Yeah.
The next worst child.
Well, her comment about wait, did you might have just said this. I'm sorry, I'm going to repeat yourself.
That's okay.
But she got beat by two kids who have just never danced together.
Yeah, she's like, they're basically strangers, and they beat your ass.
Yeah. Next on the pyramid is Nia, and she's been there for 4 competition seasons and is still having issues with her legs and her feet.
The same notes.
Yeah,
and that's kind of a good reason to be on the bottom of the pyramid.
Yes, but you also have to recognize, like, yes, there is a lot of responsibility that lies with the child. It is their body that they're moving, blah, blah, blah. But you as the instructor need to realize, like, if it's not clicking, you have to find different ways to say it. You have to come up with like specific like training exercises to like make the things happen to instill those really good habits. Like in drumline, we don't just say play the music really well. We spend time practicing 2 notes in a row, like tap up. Because if your left hand is slow getting to the upstroke, we're going to do an exercise where it's just that, just that. Over and over again, because I'm going to come up with a way that you will get better at this one specific thing. Abby doesn't seem interested in doing that.
Yeah, I had that same experience when I was teaching theater. Like, why can't you remember the blocking? Like, why do you don't know where you're supposed to go? Why don't you know where you're supposed to be going right now? And then sometimes the answer was like, oh, I'm just like distracted or like whatever. But sometimes the answer was like, because the way that you want me to move across the stage feels unnatural. And I'm like, oh, okay, let's take that into consideration. Like, what feels more natural to you? Like, oh, I feel like my character would be doing this. And I'm like, okay, cool, sick. And then that's the thing that they remember, you know.
Hell yeah.
And Abby's not going to do that. Next is Mackenzie. She says that she's a pop princess. And she says that her song, that Girl Party, went to #1 on iTunes, and her music video also went to #1, and that it was because of Abby. Here's the thing about iTunes charts. They're fucking bullshit because they change constantly.
By like the minute.
So I'm sure that when the episode was on, at some point, it peaked at #1 for
Which is
like
cool.
a minute and then came immediately back down.
That's all. I mean, that is still cool.
Because we're going to get to it later. I looked up what song actually was #1 on the Billboard that month and that year. We're going to get back to it because it's crazy. It's like, it's the best. But then Abby also taking credit. It's like, it's all because of me, whatever. So fucking annoying.
Yeah. Max Z, by the way,
Max Z
puts on
That's
the
kinda awesome,
biggest,
I'm not gonna lie.
goofiest smile.
Oh,
missing
yeah.
a tooth right here.
Oh, fuck yeah,
Very
dude.
cute.
But Abby's like, don't forget, you need to keep dancing to be successful.
She's beaming, and then Abby says that, and Mackenzie's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I'm not allowed to be happy here."
Got it. I have to pretend like I'm miserable, sick. The next one is Maddie. She says, you need to learn to work with other people. And she says, you'll dance with who I say and you'll like it.
But
Hey,
she
that's really
also,
upsetting.
yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Abby also said, if you want to work professionally, you need to be able to work with everyone. She literally is working professionally, Abby. She just danced in a Sia music video where the whole thing was her.
Yeah.
She's already doing it, Abby.
Yeah.
If you want to do the thing you're already doing, that's like telling
wait, what?
a guy who's been in the NFL for a couple of years, like,
If you wanna
want
play
to be in the
yeah,
if you want to be in the NFL, like, brother, I am.
I am. Yeah. Also, that, if I'm remembering correctly, the Chandelier video is a one-shot video. So the camera never cuts.
I don't think it's one shot.
You don't?
I
Okay.
think
I
it's
could be
all
misremembering
one
that.
scene. I
No,
could be
yeah.
misremembering. Someone write in.
And then the top, because there's no middle, it's just all the children except one, is Chloe. Let's fucking go.
Hell
LFG for
yeah.
Chloe Lucasiak. She did an outstanding job with her solo. But then Abby, there's like some kerfuffle because Abby says like, well, 2 of the judges didn't think that you should win. And Christy's like, when the fuck do you ask the judges about scores? And she said, I didn't ask the judges. I checked the score sheets.
She was like, I just wanted to see the breakdown.
Yeah.
And
Christy calls bullshit.
Yeah, Christy's like, it seems to me like you were trying to find out how how Chloe won because you thought that
you're
Cameron
mad.
should have or whatever.
Because you're fucking mad.
I don't know why that needed to get brought up by either of them. Like, you could have just let Abby say her bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
whatever, I'm a winner.
Let her talk her shit. Who cares?
It's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's all dumb.
And she's like, why are you being so defensive? Your kid's on the top of the pyramid. It's like, but if you're going to put her on the top of the pyramid to shit on her, that's not fair.
I will say, though, like, all last week, Abby did speak really highly of Chloe.
True.
And she was like, Chloe's a winner. That's where she belongs. She has proven that she is like that. Like, she's always been great and blah, blah, blah. Like, Abby had nothing but great things, like legitimately great things to say about her last week. And so Christy complained. It just feels dumb. It's like, dude, you're at the top.
Just shut up.
Why are we griping right now?
Sit quietly. Yeah. This week we're going to Wheeling, Virginia for sheer talent. And there's 2 group numbers and 2 solos. And the original group's number is called Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board, and all the kids are in it. That's a reference to... The number is about using a Ouija board, and Light as a Feather, Stiff as a Board is the thing that you chant at the end when you're trying to levitate your friends off the ground. So that's why it's called that.
I didn't know that was Ouija related. I thought it was just like these creepy
You're supposed to
ghost
say it
games.
at the end to levitate your friends.
What was the actual trick to that, by the way? There was
Childhood hysteria, I think.
No, there was an actual trick that like you put like two
Two-
fingers,
yeah, I don't
whatever, and they like lift up. But there was like a trick to doing it.
I don't know.
Like, whoever gets lifted up is supposed
can't
to do
remember.
a trick.
I can't remember. The new
Write
team...
in if you know how that works.
If you know what we're talking about, right in. The new team is going to be doing a number about the rapture. That's fucking awesome. And Abby asked Christy if she wants to explain what it is, and she says no because they won't be a part of it. Now that's a fucking read. No, I don't want to explain it because y'all bitches won't get to go to heaven. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That also...
And then Jill's like, hey, that's fucking bullshit. And she says, that's like super unchristian of you to say that. And then Christ and you're talking, it's like, I don't give a fuck if they think I'm unchristian. I don't have to say anything. I don't need proof I have faith kind of bullshit. It's so... I know so many people like Christy, and it really... It like pisses me off, dude.
The sheer arrogance that American Christians often have is
Southern American Christians also
is bananas.
It's crazy. Like not to make this entire podcast about me and my trauma because it like very fully isn't. But there's just a lot there. There's just a lot that Southern American Christians really, white specifically, really need to like get your house in order because it's fucking embarrassing to be like that.
Yeah, Jill does literally
Jill's
say
like,
that is the
super
least
unchristian.
that is the least Christian thing I think I've ever heard in my life.
Jill, and Jill's a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
So if a Trump supporter is calling you out, you need to look inward.
Yeah.
Abby says that Mackenzie's going to be doing a solo that's called Watch Me Fly. And she's like, she was #1 on the pop charts. It's her week. She's a superstar. You want to know what song was actually #1 on July 29th, 2014 when this episode aired?
Something by Pitbull.
No, it was, but something similar to Dogs. The girl who's not here, but it was Fancy by Iggy Azalea featuring Charlie XCX. And I know that's fucking right.
I was singing that as I was walking out of work on Friday because someone was like, oh my gosh, I am so tired. And I was like, I'm so fancy.
That's so annoying.
But you already know.
I cannot, I miss 2014, dude. July 29th of 2014, 2014 summer between, I'm so sorry, high school and college for me. And I was like living my actual best life, getting ready to go to college.
I was in my
2014.
early mid-20s, probably being drunk by a pool and hitting on some blonde chick.
So, okay, Abby says that Sarah is going to get a solo, and Tammy, Tia's mom, pissed. Like,
yeah.
pissed. We're going to come back to her. She's my new favorite. Abby, can you take your phone off the mic stand? Every time it vibrates, I can hear.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Abby says, already said that. She then says that she wants to see Sarah on the stage before she cuts her. So Tammy's like, why the fuck would you give a solo to this dumb
she didn't
idiot?
Even dance last week.
Yeah.
Smack that all on the floor. Smack that.
Okay.
It's so smack.
Abby, let's see. I don't even know what I was saying when the camera got.
Whoa, smack that.
Shut up. Abby says, oh, okay. So she's like, why is Sarah getting a solo? She didn't even dance last week. And Abby's like, well, I want to see her on the stage before I cut her. Whatever. That's like not a real reason, but okay, sure. She's just saying this so that Tammy will shut up, which is fair.
Yeah, but it's a good way to get her to shut up.
That's true. It's a good line. The OG moms leave and the new ones go upstairs to the Lido deck. And then the OG moms are in the parking lot talking shit.
Yeah.
On the new moms, and they're like, I can't believe they're blah 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 doing all these things. And Jill is like trying to be the voice of hope. She's like, well, maybe things will be equal and maybe things will be better. And they're all like, Jill, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
no, it's not.
Jill literally says, maybe Abby knows what she's talking about, and I laughed out loud.
And you're like, Jill, babe,
there's no real plan here. There's no good plan.
Which is also awesome because by the end of the episode, the person who hates Abby the most is Jill.
Yeah.
So she starts really optimistic and then ends like pretty fucking pissed.
Hey, operate with new information when you got it.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Abby is inside working with the new group on the Rapture, and there's a church pew as a prop. Slay, love that. And she says that the OG team is experiencing a rapture themselves. For those of you who don't know what the rapture is this thing in the book of Revelation at the end of the Bible where Jesus, like the Christ figure, comes back to earth and takes the souls of the good Christians up to heaven. And if you're not a good person, you get left on the earth to like rot, and then Satan comes to steal you in the middle of the night, and then you go to hell forever. That's the rapture. If you're familiar with the Left Behind novels and movies with Kirk Cameron, they're about the rapture. So to say that the original team is experiencing a rapture where they're being left behind is like kind of funny to me. I don't know. I thought that was funny. The new moms are upstairs, and one of them asks Christy what she thinks about Sarah being up against Mackenzie, and she's like, sort of nervous, but like also not really. But she flips the script pretty quickly and is like, do y'all support Abby sabotaging Chloe? And that one mom with purple hair is like, she wasn't sabotaging, she was fact checking. And then the OG moms come upstairs and they're like, oh, you were talking shit on Chloe. And then it becomes like a whole
purple
thing.
hair is Jody, by the way.
Jody Slay.
Yeah. And yeah, she asked Jody specifically, like, well, do you think that what was the phrase that she used? She's like, was she trying to not bamboozle, but something along those lines? Like, was there foul play? And Tammy's like, no. Or Jody's like, no, I don't think that at all. And then seconds later, the OG moms come up, and Christy's like, oh, hey, they were saying that she was mad about Cameron and Chloe. And Jody's like, I literally didn't. Sabotage. She's like, I didn't think it was sabotage at all, actually. And then Christy, God love her, completely takes the bait. 110% takes the bait.
Really?
And starts talking to, past Christy, who's straight up lying. She leans over. She's like, well, Jody, I don't care what you think, and blah, blah, blah. And Christy's just like, yes, dance monkeys.
Yeah,
and so the OG moms leave again, and all the new moms are like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Jeanette,
not a girl's girl, Christy.
Where
not
is
a
it?
girl's girl.
Jeanette literally says, like, that was bullshit. And Christy's like, well, I didn't, like, throw you guys under the bus
They're like,
or whatever.
the fuck you
and
did.
Jeanette says, you didn't throw us under the bus. You straight up lied. You just made shit up.
Yeah.
Again, Jeanette, I think my favorite of the new moms.
My favorite is
And
Tia's mom.
Fucking Christy, well, at this point.
Sure.
And then Christy was like, you guys don't have to like me, but you will respect me.
Yeah, and they're like, no,
the fuck we do not.
I don't have to respect you if you don't deserve my respect, dumb idiot.
You have not done one single thing.
Why would I
to
respect
earn
you?
Respect.
No. I know. I did it that way so that Iggy could be seen if she ever shows up.
Yeah, but she's not here, unfortunately.
I know. She might be here later.
That way you're centered.
Whatever.
I'll
thank
make
you, I
sure
guess.
that if Iggy comes up here, I'll pull the blanket.
One thing about Eli is that he wants to center the voices of women.
And I've always said that.
You're like waiting for the insult.
I
like,
was, yes. Did
in
you?
the corner, like,
Yeah,
oh,
no.
wait,
Did you hear the pause?
No, I do care about
That
the
is
voices of
something I
women.
do.
No, yeah.
Say more things like that.
No, don't tell me what to do. Okay, I take it back.
No.
You're only centering the voices of women when they're saying what you want them to say. That's crazy. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Christy says that if Abby and the other moms, or no, Christy says that if Abby and the other moms think that going to the judges to debate a score is a good idea, then they're bad people, which is kind of a bold claim, but whatever. When we go to a commercial and when we come back, we're seeing the OG group rehearsal. They're playing with a Ouija board, and Chloe's the person in the dance who like gets possessed at the end of the number. And Christy says that she'll take it. She's like, at least it's a lead. I know it's spooky scary. Don't give a fuck. It's the lead.
You used to use the term ookie spooky.
Ookie spooky megalamookie, which is a reference that you might understand because you've watched Drag Race. The world opens up when you let down your guard and let in
I don't have a guard.
the pop culture ferocity of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
have a guard.
Whatever.
I wasn't opposed to watching it. You were like, will you please watch it? And I was like, yeah.
I've never said anything to you in that tone ever. Say it. No, I'm just kidding. I have actually said things
You
like
said
that
those words to me in that voice.
So you please watch Drag Race? Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah, Chrissy's like, I'll take it. It's a lead. Who cares? Abby tells them that they need to step it up. You have a new team who's coming for your neck. Blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah. Abby, when Mackenzie is in her solo rehearsal, Abby asks, like, what are you going to do if Sarah H beats you? And Mackenzie's just staying there, mouth hanging open, unblinking, like...
Mouth breathing.
I don't know.
And Abby's like, well, Sarah's going to be able to say that she beat the #1 pop star in all of American musical history.
She'll talk about it forever.
And she's like, okay.
And he's like, all right.
Having bragging rights like doesn't really mean anything when you're a kid. Like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
The new moms are upstairs again. Jeanette, your girl, is pissed.
This is when the conversation... I skipped ahead a little bit. This is when that conversation happened.
Yes. And she's like, I can't believe she was talking shit. Like, that's so... Or she told the new moms that we were talking shit. And then that's when she says, like, you have to respect me. She's like, no, the fuck I don't.
No, we do not.
Sarah's solo rehearsal is what we see next. It's called Nasty Little Monster, which is kind of like an insane name.
No, it isn't. It's called...
Oh, is it Scary Little Monster?
I think Scary Little
Monster.
Monster.
Why I wrote Nasty? That was weird.
That is weird.
Doing a lot of like dark numbers this week, which I thought was interesting. There's no... Because usually when Abby... Well, no. I guess Mackenzie's number is lighthearted.
Scary Little Monster.
And not terrifying.
Yeah, right.
Okay, never mind. But
There are a couple spooky
three
ones.
of 4 are spooky numbers.
Yeah, I guess the
And then
Rapture
Mackenzie's
is
is different.
a little ooky spooky.
The Rapture's a really big deal for Christians, so that is
I mean-
spooky. And the new moms are talking about how Christy isn't doing Sarah any favors by being insane. Totally fair. They're like, you see her mom, you see how well things are going for her. Look at her mother. You know what I mean? And that's like a fair point. Abby's talking to the new moms at the desk, and she's like, how do you guys like the group? This is when shit goes down. I felt alive for the first time in like at least 3 days.
Like a
seeing
bolt
this
of
number.
lightning hit me in the dick.
Oh,
it was great.
Awesome. So Abby's talking to the new moms. She's like, do you guys like the group? All the new moms and Abby are talking shit about Christy because she's not standing there right at that moment.
Yeah. Well, really, they were saying, like, they were asking Abby, like, how do you feel about Christy being, like, back on the team
gonna get
after
to
not
that.
dancing? What happens if she does it again?
Yeah, and which is a great question.
Right.
And then Tia's mom says, like, well, if you need a girl to step in, if you have to pull Sarah, Tia can learn this number and she
She's
can
been
step
watching
in.
it.
She's been watching. Christy, like, comes out and hears that this is what they're talking
She,
about.
like, materializes through the wall.
And she's so, like, she's like, hey, ladies, I've been able to hear every word of what they're saying. And they all go, good.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Great.
Christy's like, y'all bitches are just jealous. You're jealous of my boogie. You're jealous of my daughter.
She then says, this is my studio.
And she's like, y'all need to go home.
I can't believe Abby didn't snap her neck right when
there
she
are
said that.
multiple points in this. I can't believe Abby didn't snap.
I feel like Abby might be a little afraid of her.
I would be.
Because if any other mother said any of these things to
Yeah.
her, Abby would have, like, yelled and gotten in her face and blah, blah,
Called
blah.
the cops probably, yeah.
Yeah, but she has not done any of that to Christy.
Yeah. They're all like yelling at each other, and Christy eventually says, bite me. She says, fucking bite me to one of the moms. And Christy tosses, I rewatched the fight footage several times and couldn't figure it out, but she like tosses something at Tia's mom, at Tammy. She throws
Tammy,
like, it's like a piece of paper or like something little.
Yeah.
And Tammy walks around the moms and goes to beat Christy's ass.
You can tell, yeah, she's here for
like,
it. As she gets there, though, Christy, like, puts her hand, like, on
terrifying.
Tammy's, like, neck a little bit to try and, like, brace her.
And Tammy rips out someone's extensions. Did you hear this?
No.
So the really short blonde one, she puts her hand on the top of her head and goes to move her, and she pulls extensions out, and the blonde
Collateral
mom,
damage.
The blonde mom goes, my hair, and they knock the T-shirt display off the wall because Christy is like, Tammy. I keep wanting to say Tamara because it's Tia and Tamara. It's not. Yeah. It's Tia and Tammy. Tammy goes to like, she's like reaching for Christy multiple times.
And a producer.
Yes, a bald man.
A man producer has
also
now
materializes out of nowhere.
He just like slithered through everyone and got in between. He's like, this looks crazy. And these women aren't on like, they aren't initiated like the others are. Like they know not to throw punches really casually or whatever. He comes in and gets in the middle of them, and Tammy is reaching over and throwing like actual haymakers
gets a good
at Christy.
Like punch on Christy. She hits her in the head. Also, I don't know if you saw this. This is only my third watch of this footage. That producer man, another piece of collateral damage is that Tammy's shirt gets ripped off. You don't see anything. They like do a really good job of cutting footage so that you don't see it. But he reaches like this, and he, I think, unintentionally slips his hands through the straps of her tank top, because by the end he's almost wearing her shirt. I was like, what's this blue swath?
Like, does this and
yes, I was like, what's this blue swath of fabric? And then I was like, that looks like the same color as the tank top she was wearing. And lo and behold, when we see this mom again, she has like a zip-up hoodie on.
I didn't even notice that.
The fight, like, it got so intense that they were ripping off clothes. Like, it got that bad. Ripping out extensions, ripping off clothes. Like, it was fucking crazy. Someone does call Christy a fat bitch. There's a couple of fatphobic comments, which aren't great. But in the grand scheme of things, calling someone a fat bitch is not as nearly as upsetting as punching someone in the face. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, you know.
I also made the comment, though, that Tammy is, like, swinging at him. Or at Christy, and then I said she ain't the no-name redhead anymore, like Christy said initially.
True, she's literally killing people. And then also another bald man appears. So we have two. This fight was so bad it took two bald men to break up a fight, which is crazy.
Do you think one man with hair could have done it by himself? Or?
No, I think it would have. I think
4 or 5.
I think
men
it's
with
4.
hair.
I think the ratio is 2 to 1.
I see.
So for every 2 men with hair, like they to collectively have the strength of one baldy.
I believe
so
that
4 men with hair.
I believe that men with higher testosterone levels tend to lose their hair at a higher rate.
I do think that bald
would
people. It does track that bald people are strong. That, for some reason, makes sense in my brain. Also, bald people make me really nervous.
What? No.
Because there's just nothing there to
protect your brain. If you're a bald listener,
brain.
you're doing fine.
If you're a bald king, I love that. Or a bald anybody, I love that.
I was going to say.
But, like, there's just nothing there to protect your head.
You know who I think is, like, the most badass looking women ever? Is the
women with the half-shaved heads. We've talked about this before.
Yes, but no, even more so.
Yes, but no.
Was the Wakandan, like, soldiers in Infinity War and stuff. Like they
Lupita
had the
Nyong'o, yeah.
Dude.
Lupita Nyong'o can get it. Lupita Nyong'o, call me, girl.
Yup.
She can get it.
Dude, that was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So badass.
Abby in her talking head says that she feels like she just got paid, that she paid front row seats to watch 2 moms act like boys on a playground. And she has them, like, she's like, go, all you other moms, go sit outside in your car. And she, like, pulls Christy aside. She in her talking head says that they're an embarrassment. The way she phrases this is fucking crazy.
You're an embarrassment to women.
But she says they're an embarrassment to women and an embarrassment to me. Which is, like, it sounds like those are mutually exclusive. You know what I mean? Like,
women
not
in
only,
general, but
also me.
Just
Well, it's
me.
like, you could just say they're an embarrassment to women. Also, the fuck they're not, actually.
Throwing good punches and having good accurate shit talk.
Lock me up.
That's great.
You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Me every 30 seconds being like, I'm gonna punch you.
Yeah.
Abby says to Christy that she either apologizes to the moms or she pulls her number, or she's gonna pull all the numbers. And then at this point, all the new moms are outside, and Tammy goes outside, apologizes.
No.
Or Tammy's already outside. Christy goes outside. Apologizes, they shake hands.
So
whatever.
Christy comes out and they're like, Tammy says, are you going to apologize to me? And Christy's like, you should apologize to me. And I thought it was going to turn into a whole other fight again. But instead, Tammy says, I extend my hand in apology.
Damn.
Just so obviously being the bigger person.
Damn.
And she's like, do you accept? And I thought that Christy was going to do something crazy
I did
again,
too, yeah.
But she didn't. She was just like, I accept and I also apologize. And it was like, There was a lot of tension.
And
I think it was a little bit poorly edited, but there was a lot of like pregnant space within that conversation. It felt very awkward.
Yeah. The OG girls, we cut to them in the den talking about, like, they're giving, like, very canned responses of, like, we have to show Abby that we've been dancing together forever, and that's worth something, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, whatever.
And then their moms are upstairs in the Lido deck. And I will say, like, the way that the new moms and daughters have been handling themselves, seeing the originals is a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean? Because they were just, like, beating the shit out of each other. And then, like, our moms that we know and love are like, I'm a little bothered. You know what I mean? So it's nice to, like, take it down just for a second. My
I
heart
will say,
handle it all.
if Christy wasn't there, the new moms would be, like, stone cold, locked and loaded.
That is true. She
very
provides
kind,
drama.
very friendly. That's true. All Christy. It's literally all her.
That's true. The OG moms are in the Lido deck. The new girls and the new moms are in the mirror room. Like, they're overlapping, kind of like your rehearsal ends at like 2:55. Your rehearsal starts at 2:58 kind of thing. And Christy in her talking head says that the new group looks amazing and she's like kind of scared.
Yeah.
And Jill very accurately points out, like we were talking about this earlier, that the new group has 3 teenagers and then also an 8-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Yeah, so like the average age of the group is still within the range, but it's very clearly it's 3 like bigger kids.
And Jill makes a great comment. She says the new group is great, and when our girls are their age, they will also be great. Which is like I think a good way of like providing just like a point of reference of how much older they are.
It's also acknowledging though that like they're really good, but our girls are too. They just don't have
young.
as much the experience.
Yeah. Holly and Jill both point out that the 2 girls whose moms got into a fist fight, are still in the number, and they don't understand why.
Well, they're the parents of the 2 youngest ones,
right,
and they bring the average age down.
Exactly. We cut to a commercial, and when we come back, we're at the competition, and I personally cannot. Oh wait, are we still recording?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot to set the timer. My life is so hard. I cannot imagine how annoying it would be to be a person at the competition, not a part of the ALDC.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm
Like if I
here
was
to,
just
compete and dance.
Yeah, and like
Now we gotta
eat some
deal
sour
with-
punch straws and drink a Sprite and go home.
Yeah, there's just
And be in
so
bed by
much
10.
like nonsense.
Yeah, of like, okay, well, we have to stop the competition because the ALDC bus is pulling up. So everybody has to go outside, you know, like, or if they need to run it again, or like, hey, your seat that you're sitting in, you have to fucking move because these bright studio lights are going to be shining on these seats for these moms. Like,
Yeah.
that'd be so fucking annoying.
Yeah. Last time, who says it? Was it Abby? It says last time we were here, it was the Kelly incident. And Jill says, well, we already had an incident this time, and they're both still here, but they wouldn't be if Abby didn't need them
Yeah,
here.
Jill straight up looks at them and says, hey, the only reason you two are here is so that you can bring down the age. But if Abby didn't need you, you wouldn't be here. Woof,
If she didn't need your
Jill.
kids, you wouldn't be
But
here.
like also Slay, like she's absolutely right.
I think that's correct.
And Holly in her talking head is really pissed. She's like echoing what Jill is saying, like, this is fucking bullshit. And I know Holly wants to open a can of whoop ass so bad. She's like, if we've been able to beat each other up and get away with it, I have some hands too.
Yeah,
like, I
it's
want to
like-
beat someone up and get away with it.
Yeah, I've got a list, actually.
She
I've got
wants
an
to just,
itemized
like,
list of where punches need to be distributed. She said, yeah, Holly in her talking head was madder than I've seen her get in a while.
She's kind of on one this episode.
Yeah, she says
which is
nothing
weird.
solidifies who Abby is rooting for this week, quite like allowing a full-out brawl, and those people still get to be here.
Great point.
Correct.
Christy is foaming at the mouth
Dude.
for Sarah to be on the OG team. It is embarrassing
Already-
and creepy
Already
as fuck.
my least favorite person.
Yeah, and
'Cause
she's
the weaponizing of your religious arrogance, that really...
your pious attitude.
Yeah, really already
piety.
puts you near the top, but she has surpassed Leslie.
Yeah.
She has
Yeah,
surpassed
oh, yeah.
Melissa. She has surpassed Kathy.
Oh,
Kathy's
yeah.
not harmful. The others are.
Kathy. Yeah. Christy's like,
Christy is beyond
she's a threat to people's
harmful.
safety. Are you fucking kidding me? It's crazy.
Dude, I'm
In the
so
name
over
of the
it.
Lord, it's insane. And then Mackenzie and Sarah both come out in their costumes, like as they're getting ready. And Christy's mad that Mackenzie's slaying harder than Sarah. She's
Yeah.
like, well, she looks scary, and Mackenzie's makeup is beautiful, and
Yeah.
her costume is beautiful, and Sarah
gets
looks like
cool
shit.
makeup.
Yeah.
Well, she says that Mackenzie has like cool makeup, and what are you gonna do to help Sarah?
Yeah.
And Abby
What are you
says-
going to do to help her get through this day?
And Abby says,
Crazy.
getting rid of you would be the most helpful thing I could do.
Yes. Abby calls Christy relentless, which is awesome. She's, you are relentless.
Correct.
And yeah, getting rid of you would be a great start to helping her out, lol.
Abby in her talking head then says, like, I like Sarah, and I hope her mother doesn't ruin her chances of doing well.
Yeah, and she's not off to a good start.
No.
We see Mackenzie, like, it's time for her to perform, and Abby says that she needs to perform like she's the #1 pop star in the world because that's what people expect of her.
No, it isn't.
No, it isn't, but she's not Iggy Azalea. She's not Katy Perry.
Oh, I miss Iggy.
I know, I do too. Rachel said she was going to come back, but they're still on a play date. Let's see. Oh, the music that Mackenzie's dancing to, felonious.
I didn't
Prison,
watch any of these dances.
jail. It's awful.
I did
Mackenzie
see,
does great, though.
Because I skipped through it, at the very end, I saw Mackenzie, like, kind of flutter off like this, like, in character. I thought that was good.
Yeah. Christy,
I also noticed that Abby didn't say shit about her being in character and walking off. Whereas one time Chloe gave one of these when she was
she
the stuck her
rocker
tongue
out,
chick.
too.
And
Yeah.
Abby, that turned into like a 15-minute fight.
Yeah, she was like, you gave him the middle finger. And Chloe was
Yeah,
like, no, I actually didn't. Christy says that Sarah needs to dig deep into her soul to prove that Abby needs to be there. Hey, she's 8. And
I'm not convinced that 8-year-olds have a soul, actually.
okay, not to throw down really quick with Christy, but you and I need to talk about self-awareness in the soul of children because that's a hot topic amongst Christians. When does a soul become savable? Because Christians believe that the soul of a child is inherently innocent and children don't do wrong until they get to be a certain age. And it's a huge topic of discussion about when does a child become self-aware enough to understand what a salvation issue is. And I know a lot of bitches who would say that 8 years old isn't a soul. Just throwing that out there, Christy, you and I can fight.
I know a lot of religious leaders often like to think it's pretty young, though, so they have an excuse to marry children.
That, and so they can be pro-life, so they can say that life begins at conception and it's a soul. But some people
Right.
would say it's not. So, Christy, I don't know if you can say dig deep into her soul and also be a Christian and her be 8. I don't know if you can do all those things.
I'm not going to get into it on the podcast,
She's a
but if you
child.
want to talk to me about that kind of thing, just send me a DM.
If you want the smoke.
I have a lot of very strong thoughts about this.
True.
Y'all can write in.
Sarah performs, and I think she does a good job. I don't think her number was as challenging as Mackenzie's, like, technically and choreographically, but she does good with what she has, and Christy says as much. So, like, she did well, but with what she had. But she's like, she needs more of Abby's time and attention, and that's what she wants, and
I'll also say, as I skipped through the dances, I got to the very end just in time to see Sarah. The music had stopped, and she did this, like, evil, fun, cackle along with the music or whatever. I thought that was really good.
Slay, yeah. The groups are getting ready, and Holly... I should have also said this, that both teams are sharing the same green room. So they're seeing each other, like, get ready.
That's a risk.
Which is super fucking risky.
Because they didn't last week, did they?
I don't think they did, and they are this week. And they definitely didn't, because there's a weird moment about doors. Yes. This week they're in the same room. It's my ice maker.
This is the loudest ice maker of all time, I think.
Know. Holly points out that the new group's costumes look way better than the OG team, and they do. She says it's $10 off the rack.
Yeah,
for the
she
original
says
groups.
Our group gets $10 off the rack pajamas compared to the new group's beautiful costumes.
I mean, true. She says that their headpiece, their fascinators that the new team is wearing, by themselves, the fascinator costs more than the whole entire outfit.
Is that what it's called?
Mm-hmm. If it doesn't,
the fascinator sounds like someone who fascinates people.
Yeah, when it doesn't serve a purpose as like a hat and it's just like ornamental, that's called a fascinator. Fascinator.
Barely know her. I've never fascinated a woman.
True. That's not true. Your stupidity fascinates me constantly.
I meant in like a good way.
Oh, yeah, true. Holly in her talking head says, like, I'm seeing these gorgeous costumes and the great choreography and the props. And she's like, I see our girls and all they have are pajamas and a fuck-ass Ouija board. And she's pissed. And I would be pissed too if I was Holly.
They then the girls are like running the number off to the side. And at the part where Chloe gets like picked up and kind of somersaults backwards, she slips and like falls a little bit. And just looks so defeated when she gets up. That on top of Holly's like kind of quiet complaints about the costume, it is very clear that morale is fucking low. Low
as fuck. And Chloe kind of gets like flustered about this thing, and Christy like grabs Chloe's like face and she says, "Stop." She goes, "Do not freak yourself out. You're fine." Holding her face, and she says,
"Be evil."
She says, "Don't freak yourself out. Be evil." And then Chloe like kind of giggles.
Pats her cheeks.
Yeah, it's like, okay, we're back. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
The new group goes first. It is way more technical, more complicated. It is way better than most of the OG numbers. It's crazy.
Also, I feel like bigger groups are just more visually impressive anyway. So like
when they're all in sync, absolutely.
The more people it is so much harder to get 6 or 7 people in sync than it is 4 or 5 or whatever. So like just even if 2 groups are at like similar skill levels, the bigger group is going to do better. It's just going to happen that way. One thing I did notice is as they're announcing the and in this category or wwhatever, the announcer says in the preteen category, I was like, they have 13, 14, and 15-year-olds on this team. How is this the preteen category?
Well, it's the average age of the kid.
That's crazy, though.
Yeah.
That's not what it should be called. I just have a problem with the semantics of it.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I don't know what the fuck this number has anything to do with the Rapture, other than all the girls running off at the end, except for one of them. But it still looks good.
I didn't watch.
It's fun. The OG group goes, I hate Chloe's hair. It looks like shit, and I'm pissed. That's it.
I will also say that Abby in our talking head beforehand says, like, the girls think that this isn't fair. Well, this is a chance to fight when things aren't fair. Like, so you're acknowledging.
So you do want them to be fighting.
It also, you're acknowledging that things are not fair.
Yeah.
Because you know that the other dance is better. You know that the other, they've gotten more attention. You know that the other costumes are better. And now she's like, well, this is just a chance for them to fight an uphill battle and grow and develop character or whatever. Like, no, that's such a cop-out.
It is such a cop-out.
Abby loves herself a good cop-out.
You should let me shit on your kids so that they grow.
It's her ineptitude as a teacher, and then she, like, makes excuses after the fact.
Right. I think that the concept and the storytelling of the OG group is a little bit clearer, but I don't think it's the better number. The part where they dropped Chloe in the rehearsal goes off without a hitch. It's, like, totally fine. And Chrissy says that they did great, but she doesn't think it's going to be enough to win. Speaking of winning, we get to the awards, and the solo awards go first. And Sarah gets 4th in her solo, which is super bad.
Christy.
And Christy says she was given the lesser number but she did the best with what she had and whatever. Mackenzie, first.
Obviously.
Duh.
Number
Fucking
one pop
duh.
star, number one dancer.
What else would you expect from literally Katy Perry? You know what I mean? We get to the group awards, and unfortunately, the OG group gets second, and Clock It, the new group, gets, you guessed it, first, which is very upsetting.
I knew it was going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding? Their costumes were crazily different. Their choreography was so much cooler.
You know what's so funny is at the beginning of the episode, it may have been Holly, I don't remember who, someone said, oh, at least they're both contemporary numbers, so they're on a level playing field.
Yeah, no.
No, the fuck they were not.
If your choreography shit from a butt, you're not on a level playing
shit
field.
From a butt.
Yeah. Maddie and her talking, it says that she's really upset because she thought that they were going to win. Babe, I don't know why you thought that. Your number was bad. I don't know why you thought you were going to win.
She thinks that she has more power than she does.
She's like,
just
I'm
used
on
to
the
being.
group.
Yeah, she's just used
So
to
I thought we
winning.
were going to win because I'm there.
Yeah.
Christy and her talking, it says that the worst part about it is that the OG girls, like, at one time do and at the same time don't realize just how set up to fail they really are.
Yeah.
Like, they don't get it, but they're feeling the effects of being someone else's pawn.
Yeah.
The moms are back in the green room, and Jill's like, I don't have anything to say to these new moms because they shouldn't even be here because they were fighting. Fair.
I guess. They
were boxing.
Well, one of them was boxing. The other was
Getting her ass beat.
helplessly flailing about. As they walk in, and Tammy says, hopefully this helps secure our spots a little more on the team. This is before the OG moms get in. The OG moms then come in, and the new moms were like, oh my gosh, y'all did so great.
Yeah.
We thought it was really good. They're being like legitimately like kind. Christy then is just like kind of a sore loser and is like, well, you guys won. What more do you want? You got what you wanted. Like, okay, what are you doing right now? You're just being shitty.
Yeah.
You're just being a shitty sore loser. And like, I get, we have a lot of context with Christy. Like, Chloe is always second place to Maddie or whatever else. But like, the other moms are trying their best to be like nice. And oh my God, even who says it? Tammy again was just like, I don't know how the judges chose. I honestly thought it might have been a draw. That is such good sportsmanship.
Objectively supportive.
That is, yes. And the other moms beforehand, Jeanette was like, I'm just excited to watch both groups. I think they're both really going to do well. Like, what more do you want, Christy? You're being an asshole right now.
True. I do love, I will say, I love seeing Jill run D for her team. If you want proof of me literally beating the shit out of Eli, I have it on audio. I'll put it at the
You have it on video?
episode. No, I only have it on audio.
Recording.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shame.
Not for anybody. It was a shame for me because I had to witness you throwing literal ass in my living room. It was so annoying.
Yeah, I was Tina twerking.
It was so upsetting. I'm gonna have to call my therapist.
If anyone watches Bob's Burgers, I was Tina twerking.
Yeah, it's true. Okay. Yeah, so Jill used to be the studio hopper, so at least it's nice to see Jill like hunker down and stick with the team.
I guess, but the thing is, they're attacking or they're defending against an enemy that isn't attacking.
Yeah, but she at least stands for something.
Christy's annoying, and that's great. But like, y'all, the thing is, whenever they like make up shit to be mad about it, excuse me, it really drives me crazy because like there is so much nonsense that you should and are actively mad about. Like, this isn't one of those moments. Like, you lost. You can go comfort your kids. You could be sad for them. But the other moms are not your enemies right now.
Sure.
Abby put out an open call. They were excited to be a part of the same dance studio that you are. They're not trying to take your place. They're not. It's not any of that. They're just like, we're excited to be like on a TV show and getting, we think, great instruction for our kids.
Yeah.
We're excited that they won. I thought it was really close with your group, and I thought you guys did really well. And Jill's like, well, actually, motherfucker. Like, dude, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. No.
So annoying.
The OG moms pack up and leave with the quickness. Like, they're out of there.
They're down with the quickness.
Truly.
So much so that they meet the kids out in the hallway, and it looked like the kids didn't get a chance to, like, change or
No, they're like, let's leave. And they're like, I thought I was going to be able to, like, put my hair in a ponytail and like eat my sour punch straws, but I guess we're leaving now. And they're standing. I think they like aren't allowed to leave because the producers are like, no, y'all bitches can't leave yet.
And also, we don't have enough content yet.
Exactly. And they're standing by the elevator. What?
I have to talk about this part.
Okay.
Because they are standing in front of the elevator.
Uh-huh.
The elevator doors. Oh, wait. What happened before that?
The elevator door's open and Abby's there.
Well.
And Abby's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they're like tearing up. All the kids are really like sad. It's really like somber moment. The moms are frustrated, blah, blah. The elevator doors open up and Christy is right in front. And Abby like playfully goes to like kick her butt because she's in the way of the doors and stuff. I thought it was especially
There's
goofy.
There's a moment
because,
of like goofiness.
First of all, yes, it was like the silliest thing that Abby's done in a while, and I really thought it was funny. It's exactly what I might do, just like bah, not actually.
I do that to
kick
you
anyone.
all the time.
Quite literally, he just did like 30 seconds ago. But because it's so funny because the moment is so somber and everyone's so sad and like feeling really defeated and stuff, and Abby's just like, "What's up?"
Bitch.
Bam!
Yeah, and they're like,
and just like goes
we're
to
crying.
kick.
She's like, why are y'all crying?
Yeah.
And she's like kind of over it. She's like, what the fuck are y'all even on? And Abby, this kind of pissed me off. She says in her talking head that her instinct right now, after hearing them bitch about stuff, is to bench the OG team because they aren't acting the way that they should. Hey, really quick, your two of your dancers on your best team are prize fighter boxing in your lobby. So I don't really want to hear they're not acting how they should.
Yeah.
You got women punching each other in your lobby.
Yeah.
That's really not acting like they should, but whatever.
I agree. Holly also says these girls are sad and they deserve better from you. Yeah. Which is fantastic. And then Abby very flippantly is like, well, then straighten your legs, point your feet. You know what you need to do.
And she gets back in the elevator, presses the button, and leaves.
And it's starting to go
She's
down.
She's like, I'm not doing this shit. Fuck you guys.
Well, Holly also like says like you're being a coward or whatever. And as it's closing, I wish it had kept closing.
Because,
it starts closing, and Abby's like, "Well, actually, you're wasting." And then she stops it and opens
She's like,
it.
"You're wasting my time. This is bullshit."
I really wish she had just like closed. Well, actually, that's not.
Yeah, and then it just closes.
And then the episode ends.
And it's gone.
Awesome.
But then Maddie starts crying, and Dr. Holly.
This had to have been an edit.
Maddie, stop crying, and then looks at Melissa and says, "Tell her to stop crying." Hey, Holly, what?
Yeah, we've eaten other moms alive.
A crack in the armor for sure.
That's some shit that Melissa says.
Yeah.
I wonder, because we've seen so much good from Dr. Holly, it almost seems to me like the next part of that sentence is,
I would never say, Maddie, stop crying.
No. The next part of the sentence is like, hey, Melissa, get her to stop crying. We have nothing to be sad about. We have nothing to be ashamed about. Sure. You should be proud of second place or whatever. Something more uplifting probably followed or preceded it.
I was shocked to hear that from Holly.
I was too.
That was like a little off-putting.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's just an edit thing and not a person thing.
Have you seen, Between Two Ferns?
Yes.
There's an episode with Jennifer Lawrence, who's very funny, but Zach Galifianakis says she says something, and he's like, that's really off. Like they're kind of talking smack, and she's like giving it back to him. And he's like, well, that's really off-putting, and she says, you should be off-putting.
I've seen that
because you're so fat.
You're so fat.
And then I think that's the one where his chair breaks out from under him. If you haven't seen Between Two Ferns,
you're missing out.
Zach Galifianakis, I think, is one of the funniest people on the planet. He's so good in these interviews. The bloopers from him
in
too.
The Hangover. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That movie
comedy
is so
genius.
good because of him specifically.
Comedy. I mean, the other guys Bradley Cooper and Ed Helms are very funny.
Yeah. But
Ken Jeong, very funny. But
without Zach Galifianakis, that movie would not be nearly as funny as it is.
Stole the show.
Yeah, he eats that shit up. It's awesome. And that's the end of the episode, bitch. That's it. There was a lot of fighting. This
was a crazy one.
This was kind of a nutso episode for real. This felt like season 1 shit, and not derogatory, not in a good way, not in a fun, charming way, but in a scary way.
Yeah.
What's your song of the week, you punk ass motherfucker? What is it?
Well, speaking of punk, it's Down by Blink-182.
Great song.
Yes.
Fucking great song.
I love that song.
Do you want to talk about it at all or no?
No.
Okay.
I mean, we can go to the composition of it. I think it's just really good. The build in the chorus is really good. It feels very powerful because it's basically this driving, punctuated dotted quarter note thing.
Sure.
Ba 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 ba. It's just really good.
That's great.
Yeah,
I love that. My song, as I previously shouted out earlier, is Twilight Zone by Ariana Grande. The extended version of that album, I really do think this is her best work ever, personally. My favorite Ariana Grande album used to be Positions, Hot Take, because Positions is not the fandom's favorite normally, but I fucking love that album. I think that album fucks. However, Brighter Days, the extended Eternal Sunshine version, it's beating it. It's beating Positions for real. I held Eli Farmer at metaphorical gunpoint and made him listen to Dandelion the other day, and he was like, yeah, that song fucks. I was like, yeah, it does fuck.
You know what's so funny? I didn't make that my song of the week because I thought you were going to.
What, Dandelion?
Yeah.
It's a great song.
That song actually does go hard.
That song's fucking awesome, and people be forgetting. And this is also, you'll appreciate this because you were like, I don't want to listen to it because I'm not a big Ari fan, which is fair.
I'm not.
This Brighter Days, like this extended version of Eternal Sunshine, this album is the first time that she's ever been the producer.
Oh.
And I think I think you can tell. Like, she sounds way better. She enunciates more. Her vocal quality is just a little bit better. It's a little less tinny and it's just a fuller sound. Ariana Grande is a producer.
So I just don't like the sound of her singing voice. It's too nasally for me.
That's fair. She's a musical theater kid. That's the style.
It's nasally and whispery, and I realize she does that to, like, first of all, it's very much like the style. It's supposed to be...
It's a trend.
I don't want to say, like, effervescent, but it's supposed to be, like, very...
Ethereal.
Ethereal, that's the word I was looking for. Not bubbly. But also, yeah, I just don't love the sound of her voice, but that song, I almost wanted, like, an instrumental version of it.
That song fucks. That
I
song's
almost
great.
feel like that could be, like, a rap track.
People will...
Sample it.
This is not my opinion to have, but people on the internet will call her Trappiana because she makes trap music, and other people on the internet will call her Blackiana because she does R&B and trap and rap actually very well.
Wait, isn't she black?
Ariana Grande?
Or is she... I thought she was, like, black and Hispanic.
She is white as fuck.
What?
She's Italian.
Her name is Ariana Grande.
She's Italian.
I guess that's a stage name.
Actually, well, her last name is Grandi. So yeah, Beretta, Grandi Beretta.
That's crazy.
She's like the most Italian
I didn't
person
know
ever.
that.
Yeah, she's incredibly white. She is guilty of blackfishing. Like, she has a problematic past for sure.
Blackfishing?
Yeah, blackfishing is what? That's like a thing on the internet.
No, I just had so many jokes.
Blackfishing is when you, as a not black
You're
person,
catfishing as a black person.
Yeah, like she got into trouble doing blackfishing during Thank You Next.
I thought
because she was like making her skin darker and stuff in pictures.
I thought that would have meant like she's fishing to be affirmed as a black person.
Yeah, both.
Okay.
It's like, look, I'm just like you, and it's like, actually, hey, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why are you doing that? And she would get really, really tan, and the way that she would talk was like a little heavy on the AAVE of it all. And people were like, hey, you're white from Florida.
Yeah, I know nothing about her, and so I'm not here to tell black people what they ought to look like or whatever.
Yeah, no. But Ariana Grande's white.
I just thought she was. Okay.
Let's see. We should be able to have an episode next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to be out of town all of this coming week, but we should be able to record. Not to like dox my personal life, but...
Yeah, what times of day are you leaving, actually?
Oh, wait, are you asking me in sincerity, or
no.
you're being an asshole? Oh, you're just being an asshole. Okay, sorry. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell when you're a real person and when you're an asshole because the Venn diagram is so often just a circle.
Says the person who tried to give me a legitimate compliment, and I genuinely was being defensive because I didn't realize it was a legitimate compliment.
Fuck yourself. Yeah, I know, that's fucking right, bitch. I know. We were literally about to wrap up.
I was like,
Iggy, you gotta show him your new fit, dude. Style superstar Carson Kressley in dog form. Look at her. Look at her collar. Read her collar.
Where's her collar?
It's right there.
Oh, it's on the thing.
What's it say?
Oh, God. Iggy, you're so...
I don't know if you guys can hear, but Iggy's returned.
Iggy, hold still. Please call my mom. Her name is Rachel.
And then has Rachel's phone number on the back.
Awesome.
Please call my mom. Her name is Rachel. Let's fucking go, dude. Jesus Christ, the breathing pattern on that dog. What? She almost just bulldozed the camera.
Hell yeah.
Oh my God, what an insane dog. Okay, thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.
Goodbye!
Just leave it alone. Let it... Okay, yeah, it's fine. Stop. Sit down.
Are we good?
Stupid idiot. Yeah, sit down.
You're recording?
No, I'm not recording because your butt's still in the air. Sit your ass down. Stop. Sit down. I'm going to literally punch you. Sit Say it down. Oh, the audio. I
That's
have the
going at the
audio
end
of
of the
that.
episode.
That spike right there in the waveform is me smacking your arm.
And then me going,
Yeah.